Welcome to another video. As most of you have already realized or heard from Zeppler's video, the arrival of patch 6.2 is imminent and time runs short for certain things to be prepared until patch day. So this video shall serve as a checklist for the most important things you have to do on the weekend and until Tuesday or even Monday, because a 24-hour maintenance is definitely possible for a big patch like that. But enough talk. Let us start with the final chance for a preparation.
You're not the only ones who can ride the wind. Let go.
First of all, let us dive into these aspects and tips that work for all players and where crafting or gathering is not required. Stockpiling battle materia. I know, many times I've been shooting in the dark with price increase speculations on that topic, but this time chances are really high materia prices will rise up again due to three aspects. First, the new crafted fighter gear will offer pentamelded slots again, which means the demand for materia will increase significantly and the amount of materials needed to max out one single piece of gear will be much higher than on gear received in any other content patch, except the one with the first crafted battle gear of course. However, the combination with the second reason might be the deal here. There weren't that many people farming materia in the last couple of weeks, at least not nearly as much as in the first weeks of the expansion, when we had the classical gear being launched, which can also be seen by the very low prices you can see right now on the market board. Leading us to the third reason why it makes sense to stockpile materia. Prices are darn cheap right now, so at least get so much of them that you can provide melded slots to yourself at least. Just remember to not exchange the cracked Anthro and Dendro clusters, as these have the most value due to being flexible. And if any materia in particular rises into astronomical heights, you have the perfect currency to get it and make profit with it. So buy materia with care, speculate at your own risk, and keep cracked clusters for when the patch launched. Another easy way to earn solid amounts of gil on the patch day is to stockpile the current tomestones of astronomy, as these will be transformed into the slot where we have aphorism tomestones right now, while being replaced by the new weekly capped tomestones of causality. However, as the astronomy will have their weekly limit removed, you can farm those in all sorts of duty finder content, PvP or whatever endgame content you might tackle. A good rule of thumb here is if you're doing content below level 90, these tomestones are the equivalent to experience points when your job hasn't reached level 90 yet. So if you have friends that need their leveling done still, you can join them with a bulky level 90 tank and get your fresh astronomy grind in the process. The reason why this is worth doing, currency needed for crafting new battle gear will be earned by exchanging tomestones of astronomy against them. So stockpile these as best as possible and be ready on the patch day to make a solid 1 million or 200k at least in the first couple of hours just by selling these materials. Yeah, you could possibly invest some gil on immutable solutions that with high chance will be continued to serve as the base alchemical ingredient used in the new battle recipes, because prices of these are very reasonable right now and it could be worth investing if those go upwards again. But yes, wild speculations here as well, which can be said about Endstone and Endwood ether sand, which is a catalyst for recent gear and might be the catalyst for 6.2 gear as well, but invest at your own risk like always. Okay, before coming to some in-depth crafter preparations, let us talk about that content you should have completed until Tuesday arrives. First of all, the Moogle treasure trove will end upon release of patch 6.2, so if you still want to farm the cool looking birds from Heavensward Extreme Trials but haven't got a character to do them solo, these Moogle tomestones are an exceptional alternative. Just check out the website and you can see which duty gives you the best rewards, while still not being that boring. Yeah, most of them are that boring. Oh, and Stormblood doggos can be received here as well, so definitely check this out while it's active, because these trials are definitely harder to beat and it might take 1 or 2 tiers until you can easily solo them as tank. And while I haven't tested these portraits that can be attached to your gear sets and glamour selections in 6.2, which had been in a better status recently, there should be a way to save them so that you can use them in 6.2 as well. So make sure to check out your interface and the settings of these portraits before the patch hits on Tuesday. Now to the prerequisites to enter new content. First of all, make sure to have completed the main scenario quest, including the newfound adventurer parts, because it will be mandatory for the new dungeon and new trial coming in 6.2. So go visit the usual suspects and start exploring the hidden mysteries of Eorzea once more. Yes, the same can be applied to the Pandemonium raid, which will open its doors for the second chapter. But of course you have to complete Asphodelos, the first chapter, before getting started in 6.2, so I highly recommend to do that now. Also remember that you don't have to complete the Savage version of Asphodelos even if you want to start into Savage raids of 6.2, 1 week after the patch has been released. Completing the normal raid will do fine. The only thing that could possibly hold you back is gear, so check out my gear catch-up video found in the description to learn about the most easy and inexpensive way to get to item levels 590 to 600 without breaking a sweat. For the ambitious side questers out there, Tataro's Great Endeavor will also be featured in the patch, and Yoshi P mentioned in the live letter that you have to complete the Shadow of Mark raid series to participate in its continuation, which features the 24-man race of Heavensward and a very cool and entertaining side story delving into an unsolved mystery about former generations and how they fought against creatures of the void, with many cool Final Fantasy Easter eggs of course. So check this out and enjoy some very exciting 24-man raids. Okay, so far so good, let us talk about some crafter and gatherer preparations for the patch, so that you can persuade those big coins to wander into your purse like Gil-making does on the thumbnail. The obvious first thing to do is to get your gear to a solid item level, which means get those 590 gear pieces either by crafting them or by buying them from the market board. Yes, videos about that in the description of course. Afterwards, overmelt them reasonably, which means soak the value out of each slot while not spending millions on material melding. Maybe go a bit overboard, at least slightly, because the next crafter and gatherer gear is on a very distant horizon, and the recent gear might serve you for a long time and help you reclaim a really strong guild saturation again, so don't spend too much, but don't cheap out on it either. However, the next big step is to prepare white scripts, because the patch will bring new master recipe books featuring the new battle gear that will be the hot stuff in the next couple of weeks, and if you're a lazy crafter like I am, it will follow you on your guild making efforts for a very long time starting on Tuesday. So my best tip to prepare those scripts is either the first, if you have a lot of space inside your inventory, make sure to craft some collectibles already, load them onto your retainers and be prepared. However, if you're like me, a glam hoarder, just buy out the materials needed for the collectibles, where Culinarian is my top recommendation due to how cheap those materials are, while offering the same rewards in white scripts. So go to the collectible trader, imprint 3 or 4 of the possible exchanges there into your search tab on the crafter's journal so that it is saved. Then go to the market board and check all the material prices, because we want the least amount of expenditures by searching that collectible recipe with the cheapest materials, and buy these out in advance. The macro that I use for making those only really applies to the exact recipe I have taken, but can easily be adjusted according to your stats and the recipe you will choose due to the ingredients prices. So just check out the description and modify it accordingly. It has some headroom for easy modification either on the quality or synthesis side of things, so just use it as an inspiration. One master recipe book might cost around 1.2k white scripts, so keep that in mind. Also note that materials will mostly be replaced, but classical gear might still not be totally pointless, so instead of dumping all the connected business into the trash can, maybe keep it for later, as these items and gear sets will always have glamour value. The exceptions I mentioned earlier excluded of course, because these should be stockpiled as best as possible. Gatherers however should unlock custom deliveries on Millions, as well as those on the Studium, because it might grant access to content in the upcoming patch waves. But naturally, gearing up is the most important thing to do, so go for a well-balanced pentamelding or even just use purple scripts to gear up, because it might not be as essential as on the crafting section. And above all that, don't force yourself to grind down the content on Tuesday. While the patch might be the hottest stuff we got in years and it is jam-packed with things to do, it will stick with us for quite a while, and 6.25 won't come out before October. So enjoy the hype, unearth some buried memories, and for all things that are important, relevant or really cool to see, I will keep you updated on Tuesday. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel and click on that notification bell to learn about my newest uploads. Until Tuesday, my dear warriors of light, keep preparing and keep loving Final Fantasy.
Shall see my wish fulfilled. Let's seep sorrow into your heart. Rest eternal in the dark depths of this prison.